An interesting thing about esophageal cancer. Now, generally, now I'm trying this because it will be easier to remember. You can remember the fact that squamous cell carcinoma is more prevalent in the upper part of the esophagus, while the adenocarcinoma type is much more prevalent in the lower part. And and there is and these malignancies have different radiosensitivity. And I want to really talk about this because the first time I heard, like you can hear that 100 times, yet you forget and you start to wonder like where is it? So to know what exactly it is and remember it, you need to know like what is it that is bringing this to that. Let's take the term adenocarcinoma. Adenocarcinoma basically is an adenoma which is benign that has become malignant. And what is an adenoma? It is a tumor of the glands. Usually, where do you find glands? Glands are usually found around this intestinal epithelium. You don't usually find it at the higher part of the esophagus because there's not much glandular function there. So you might find glandular function somewhere around the stomach. So with that being said, if you want to see some kind of a glandular malignancy like an adenocarcinoma, it has to be somewhere at the lower part towards the stomach. So you can use that to guess or keep in mind that the lower part is going to have a higher prevalence rate of adenocarcinoma, while the upper part is going to be more squamous. Now I would like to correlate this to the type of radiotherapy that's going to be administered. And so the radiotherapy, this is an interesting one. Radiotherapy, you're giving these, this radio waves to the surface, right? So, squamous malignancies, squamous cell carcinoma. Now, these are malignancies that involve the surface, right? And adenocarcinoma, they're somewhat, glandular structures somewhat lower down, and because they have this function, you can think that they are somewhat differentiated. That's how I used to think, right? Like one is at the top, one is at the bottom, and because it's harder to reach the bottom, the waves, it's more resistant. I thought I was just making it up at that time, but when I looked at certain, articles, it was justified, right? Like what you logically think could be correlated, or anyway, it's the other way around. But anyway, the thing is, if you want the theory, this radio therapy is more active in surface cells or rapidly dividing, not surface, rapidly dividing. Well, anyway, rapidly dividing cells are found at the surface. So that is one way to put it. And then it is more, more efficient in, the radiotherapy is more efficient in undifferentiated cells. Yeah. And what undifferentiated cells mean? They have no function, right? They are dividing so fast, they are not differentiating. Adenome, in the sense you think about glands means they have some kind of function. So in that sense, you can come to a conclusion to remember it all in simple. Squamous cell carcinoma is more responsive to radiation, while adenocarcinoma is less responsive to radiation. So this is just what I used to think. I initially thought like, I just read like squamous at the top, adenocarcinoma at the bottom. So I was thinking why, right? So I went through this train of thought. And at the end of the day, I just like, okay, I might as well look something up. And I looked it up. And it seems like what I was logically thinking at the time made sense.